Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Shuffle Podcast, episode 288.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Joe.
And I'm Annie.
Annie, how the frickin' heck are you?
I'm all right.
Doing all right.
Yeah.
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 So, we have a peanut gallery today.
Just wait.
And she doesn't have a microphone.
Hi.
There we go. Meg B's
Meg
back in the
B.
house.
Like,
In the house.
Be in the house.
I haven't said that in a while.
I say it daily.
It's funny. So, as we mentioned in last week's episode, we aren't going to do the new Eat of the Week thing that we talked about.
Oh, yeah. I kind of forgot about this.
Yeah, and the reason that we aren't doing that is because we actually recorded last week's episode 2 days ago. So it's only been 2 days since we recorded an episode. So
we've eaten like 2 meals.
Yeah, we've
since
eaten
then.
2 meals and not together.
No.
But in that time, the reason I'm talking about how the turnaround, is because my mom called me while I was driving over here, and she goes, "You didn't have a peanut gallery," and I was like, "I know, we couldn't get anybody. Riley was sick.
Couldn't get
anybody." And she was like, "Are you gonna have one tonight?" And I was like, "Yeah, we got Meg B coming." And she was like, "Okay, so peanut gallery's back." For those of
Hi,
you that
Joe's
really
mom.
like it. Yeah. So back and better than ever.
Joe's mama.
Yeah.
Joe Mama.
Anyways, so there is something, and we're gonna jump right into it because again, I think this is gonna take up a lot of the episode.
Yeah.
And I don't even need my phone. I don't even need my phone for this because
He's been ready for it.
I've been ready for it. So last week we ended with talking about how I've got something that we could talk about. It's going to take, I think, probably about half an hour for us to really just get through it. And there's a chance, and I was mentioning this to you earlier, that we are either going to make a lot of people angry or I'm going to get angry because of the conversation.
I have
I
no
can't
idea what
figure
this
out-
conversation is.
Yeah. So
Not
it-
even a clue.
So it is food related, and it's definitely something you've heard before.
Mhm.
And it's also something that we have talked about on the podcast previously.
With me?
No.
Okay.
My brother and I. So it starts with, and this is the one you've heard before.
Not my brother and I.
Yeah. My brother and I have talked about this.
Yeah, you're right.
She tried to grammar police me.
I was thinking
Can
about it
you
and I was
even
like, that's not
believe
right.
it? 29 years of learning grammar. You think you got me?
So
Think you got my ass?
Yeah, I was so sure that time.
Yeah, you were like,
I was.
I gotcha.
I was so excited.
Yeah, sorry. But anyways, so the question, which you've definitely heard before, and Meg, feel free to chime in on this if possible because there's going to be a lot. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Wow.
Right. See, so that question doesn't piss me off. It used to, but I can see that
Pisses me off.
it makes you angry. So, right, that's the starter question. And like I mentioned to you earlier, I've been talking about this at work with one of our managers,
Who?
Nicholas.
Yes.
And we have gone down a rabbit hole,
Sure.
a deep, deep rabbit hole. So, answer the first question. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
What is your answer to the question?
My answer still stands as no. I was going to say it used to
Not
be
a
no, but
sandwich.
now it still stands as no.
You're saying
it is
it-
not a sandwich.
Okay. I think I'm going to concur
That it is not.
that it's not a sandwich.
Meg, peanut
I
gallery.
don't think she agrees.
As a hot dog pro,
Not
I
sandwich.
think.
Yeah, as a glizzy bro.
Yeah.
I'm going to say no.
Not a sandwich.
Because to me, a sandwich is 2 separate pieces of bread, but a hot dog bun is 1.
Yes. So now, go ahead, please. Go.
No,
Go.
no.
No. Go ahead,
no.
because I've got a great follow-up. I'm glad she said
Please,
that.
go.
Okay. So, yes, absolutely right, right? A sandwich is 2 separate pieces of bread sandwiching
Yes.
a bunch of things in the middle.
Right.
Great description of a sandwich. So that brought up the question of what is an Uncrustable? And I'm so happy that it naturally went that way because I thought I was going to have to force the Uncrustable into the conversation, but it naturally came up because, Meg, you said it's one piece.
Do they advertise it as a sandwich?
An Uncrustable is on the packaging.
You've looked.
Yes, it is a sandwich. They're Uncrustable
I
sandwiches.
think you just blew my mind.
Yeah. So it is, for
Well,
all intents and purposes, one piece of bread.
However,
Wait. Sorry, go. It's your podcast.
Wait!
you say one piece of bread. However, it is 2 pieces of bread that have been
Yes, that is exactly what I was going to say.
Stapled together.
So it's not one piece. I think you're right. I think it's two pieces that
have been smushed together. I think
to make it.
Yeah, but how easily can you separate those two pieces? Not as easy as a hot dog bun.
Also true.
However,
but at some point it was still...
a hot dog bun.
Hot dog bun? Hot dog bun.
Why did that?
Choked on the dog there. Hot dog bun.
A hot dog bun comes.
I knew she was
Hell
the
yeah,
second it came out of her mouth. I knew.
Yeah, as
I
soon
knew
as
it was
you
gonna
paused.
happen. I knew it.
A hot dog bun, yes, comes. Yeah.
Where?
I'm gonna cry. It starts as one piece of bread. And if you were to separate it, it's one piece of bread that you're separating to two. An Uncrustable starts as two pieces of bread that you are forming into one.
We don't actually know that, though. I've never been to an Uncrustable factory.
I feel like I'm right in
Here's the
assuming
thing.
that it is two pieces of bread that are compressed.
I
into
feel like-
Looking at it, obviously, yes, it is. However, I cannot
like
say
a hot
without a
dog
reasonable
bun
doubt.
is one piece of bread that can be separated into two. An Uncrustable bread is two pieces of bread.
Yeah, but it's not something that they that they show you, hey, we've got two pieces of bread.
There's got to be a how it's made on this.
I'm looking
She's
it up
looking
right
it
now.
up.
But that's not the point.
Okay.
The point is how is it sold? And it is sold as
One piece of bread.
piece of bread. However, right? So I do not believe that an Uncrustable is a sandwich. I used to until this was brought to my attention. And I want you to keep in mind the crimped edges. An argument could be made. Maggie, listening?
Listening.
An argument could be made that
You should know this too.
and you should also know this. And also you should have some. An argument could be made that an Uncrustable is a dumpling.
Whoa.
It is a solid dough.
So then is a dumpling a sandwich?
Is a dumpling a sandwich?
I want you to know that's what Meg would. So is a dumpling a sandwich?
So is an Uncrustable a dumpling, or could you consider it an empanada? If you were to fry an Uncrustable, deep fry an Uncrustable, does it become empanaded?
What is an empanada? I know what an empanada is. That's not the question.
Well, that brings me to another good
What
question.
is an empanada?
It's fried.
No. I'm not. That's not my question.
Oh, you know,
I know what an empanada.
an empanada is a dumpling.
What? Yeah.
That's the other thing is I think an empanada is.
So do
is a
we
dumpling.
have?
So
like-
therefore, everything can be deduced to dumpling at one point.
So
or another.
do we have three umbrella categories here? We have sandwich.
so many more than
we
three.
have. But like
Yes.
in our conversation, we
sandwiches,
have
there are
sandwich, we have
dumplings.
dumplings, and then we have whatever the heck a hot dog is.
I would make an argument. I don't know why I'm putting my arm up here. I've never
I
done
know.
this before.
Why was my hand
No,
out
I
there?
know. Oh, yeah. I would make an argument.
Yes, dear.
I found out the answer to the
Two separate pieces of
Uncrustables.
bread
Two
squished
separate
together.
pieces of bread that they cut out.
It is two. They take two pieces of bread and then they put a hole through it. The crust that they don't use gets turned into animal food.
Aww.
How nice.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
However,
Uncrustables.
the intended state of an Uncrustable sold is
Is
one
piece of bread.
It's like how a hot dog is supposedly not a sandwich,
What about?
but Five Guys makes it a sandwich. The one I was eating tonight is
The bun was-
they take it apart and they put it in the middle and you're supposed to eat it like a sandwich.
Right.
What about ravioli?
Ravioli is just a fancy dumpling. Or not fancy
An
dumpling.
Italian dumpling.
Italian dumpling. See, and that's Uncrustables are American dumplings.
What about a jelly-filled donut?
You bring up the same question one might say that I brought up to Nicholas. I go, well, then if that's the case, everything that's filled and sealed is a dumpling. However, donuts are not sealed. The hole where it's been injected
It's still there.
is still there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, don't ever do that again. Yeah, the finger hole,
The finger hole.
it's still there.
What about a hamburger? Is that a
Which-
sandwich?
We'll get there.
Okay.
Don't you worry.
Okay. Quick.
So right, a jelly filled donut. A jelly filled donut is not sealed. The hole is
it's still open.
still open.
Okay.
So therefore, it makes it a donut, which is its own category. But then you get to what makes a donut a donut, right? Because somebody, Nicholas, I think, was like, well, all donuts have holes. I go, that's not true, because if you have a filled donut, it no longer has a hole. You can't punch a hole in a filled donut. And I go, but then you have donut holes. Those don't have holes. And you have jelly-filled donut holes.
Yeah.
So really, jelly-filled donut holes are just mini donuts.
Mm-hmm.
And donut holes
Naturally. Or just
donut holes is where it gets wonky, because it typically
not filled.
if you have an
Nothing in
unfilled if you have an unfilled
It's an
donut, you
empty
punch a hole in it.
sandwich.
No. It's just a ball of fried.
It's an
dough.
empty dumpling.
No, because it's not empty. It's solid.
Yeah.
Dumplings, if you were to have nothing in them, would be empty.
Okay, fine.
Donuts get a little tricky. But there are donuts, there are donut holes, and some donut holes are just miniature donuts if you the donuts actually maybe not that difficult. But
Yeah.
you did bring up a good point. Are
Yeah.
donuts dumplings?
Right.
No.
Okay.
And empanadas are dumplings only because dumplings were invented first.
Were they?
They were.
You did research on that.
We did.
Okay.
Dumplings were invented in
It makes sense in my head.
in like the
Chinese
300 BC.
food world is 5 million years old.
And then empanadas were created honestly not that long after, almost within the same century. So two separate places created the exact same item. One of them fried it, one of them boiled it.
What about a pie that's been covered with dough?
Mm-hmm.
Like a cherry pie, you know how they put dough on top of it?
Yeah, like a fully sealed.
A fully sealed pie.
Like a chicken pot pie.
Chicken pot pie.
Oh my god. A chicken pot pie is a big dumpling.
They're big dumplings.
Big dumpling. Yeah, if it's not, because if it was like a pie that's got like the crisscross.
Mm-hmm. Like the lattice.
Yeah, that would be a donut.
Yeah, because it's got spaces.
Yeah, it's got holes.
Yeah.
If it was an open top pie, that's a pie. That's a pie.
Yeah.
We can all agree that that's a pie.
That's
Obviously.
a pie.
Come on, we're not animals here. But
We're
if
not
it's
savages.
yeah, if it's fully sealed,
like a cherry pie, typically
It's
you have
fully
a
sealed.
layer of crust on top.
you can get apple pies fully sealed. A Dutch apple
That
pie
too.
is fully
Yeah,
sealed.
Yeah. The Dutch, if you will.
The Dutch.
The Dutchy. The Dutchiness of it.
Right. The Dutch and their pies. Are dumplings.
Very large
Yeah.
dumplings.
Even though when made, they are made more similar to a donut in which they are filled with a fruit. And then no, because they're
I
sealed.
would argue they're made in a similar manner to a sandwich. Just a sandwich that's sealed, because you put the first layer, then you put the filling, then you put the second
it's
layer.
because it cups it. It loses sandwich ability. Like, yes, pie has crust, but it's not the same crust as sandwich.
It's still a layer filling layer.
That's why a pizza pie is called a pizza pie, because it's dough, toppings, yeah, and a little bit of crust.
Calzone.
Remember, I mentioned last week, a papadilla is not a quesadilla; it's a calzone. Because if you fold a pizza,
quesadillas. Oh my god!
I think quesadillas are quesadillas.
Just a folding of dough.
Our quesadillas.
Oh.
Sweet Jesus.
Hopefully, you can still hear me. That's fine.
Our quesadillas, tacos. Because if you make anything with a tortilla,
A quesadilla is a taco that's been pressed. It's like a panini. A panini is a sandwich that's been pressed. Quesadilla is to taco as panini is to sandwich.
That's good. It's a pressed taco.
A pressed food.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
So I would fully agree with that.
Okay.
Where were we at before that? Pie, pizza pie. Pie is sealed pie, cherry pie, Dutch apple pie.
Mhm.
Those are dumplings. Big dumplings.
dumplings.
Yeah. So our categories, right, that you mentioned.
Mhm.
We have dumpling category, which
Yeah, whiteboard.
arguably encompasses more foods than we realize. Most foods can be deduced at one point or another to a dumpling.
Yeah.
If they are fully sealed.
Yep.
So we've got in the dumpling category, we have pies, we have empanadas, we have Uncrustables, we have
Possibly a calzone.
I think see, we'd
It's
have
been
to look at which was
sealed.
created first, the taco or the calzone. If you get a sealed calzone, then sure, it's a dumpling.
Are most calzones not sealed?
Sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't.
I don't think I've ever had
Sometimes-
a non-sealed
Sometimes
calzone.
it's simply just a folded pizza. Looking at the papadilla, for example, it's a folded pizza. They call
not
it
a calzone.
quesadilla,
Yeah.
but I would call it a calzone.
I would not, because in my world, at least, a calzone is a folded piece of dough around toppings that has been
Sealed amongst the
like the Uncrustable sealed.
Yeah, I would say that you're probably right then. So then
Because there's
I will change my
also
stance, and the papadilla is in fact a quesadilla.
there's also, and I gotta look up the difference, a stromboli.
Stromboli.
which is also a thing.
Stromboli is a donut.
Because it's got a hole.
Got holes. Stromboli is just an Italian donut.
Stromboli versus calzone. Oh, calzones are folded in half and usually closed off with fillings in between.
Okay.
Strombolis are rolled into a cylinder, so it's got two holes.
Rolled. Oh, rolled into a cylinder. Double holes, then that's a cannoli. Stromboli cannoli.
So, I don't know though.
If it's got two holes.
we could be veering into the territory of wrap.
Wraps do have two holes.
Mm-hmm. Usually rolled.
Do all wraps have two holes, or is it like one hole?
I think it is. I think
Is
it's
a wrap a donut?
no. I don't think so.
Okay.
I think a wrap's a wrap
Wrap is a wrap.
because you roll it
And now you
like
have to keep in mind.
cool. I'm thinking cool chicken wrap from McDonald's.
Yeah,
here.
McChicken.
We're just-
McChicken wrap.
We're-
McWrap.
We're
What is
just
it?
a cool ranch chicken wrap,
McWrap.
Full range chicken wrap.
something like that. We're
But
rolling it up.
aren't some things considered what they are because of what they're made out of? Like, just because something has a hole doesn't mean it's a donut. Like, isn't it because it's made out of donut?
Yeah, but we're ignoring. We're
purely
talking shape,
dough
shape
and filling.
design.
Okay.
Dough and filling and where the holes are in between.
And who's got the holes?
Who's got the holes?
A wrap
Mhm.
made with a tortilla. Does it become
A taco?
taco? But tacos are folded,
Tacos
not
are just
wrapped.
folded, yeah.
Burritos are rolled, but
burritos
fully
you've sealed
enclosed.
off, yeah.
Yeah.
I think burrito is also its own separate thing because
Yes,
We're
because
sealing it.
it is sealed, but it's not sealed.
sealed.
It's
It's
not
just
considered
folded
a wrap,
sealed.
or a wrap isn't considered a burrito.
No, because a burrito is. I gotta hold the microphone here. A burrito is tucked and folded and tucked and rolled and folded.
A wrap is just a wrap.
A
We're
wrap
just
is
wrapping it
roll
around.
that shit up,
Okay, I
throw it in
see.
a cardboard box, and
Like a, what is it
Throw a
called?
salad
The
in it.
taquitos. That's a wrap
taquitos are wraps.
because you're just rolling it in a
Gotcha.
cylinder.
love taquitos.
Stromboli,
Stromboli is
Wrap.
a wrap. Cannolis wraps,
wraps.
depending on which was created first. If the
Eclair,
wraps.
really?
Oh, sorry, eclairs are donuts. They're filled
Donuts.
from one
That's what
side.
I was going to say.
Yeah. Cream puffs.
Donuts.
My nickname in high school. Donuts.
Are you for real?
No, I am not for
Oh my
real.
God.
I'm
'Cause I
editing
totally
out that.
would've
I'm
believed
editing
you.
out that clip. I want you to.
Yeah. No, so cream puffs are donuts
Mm-hmm.
because they are
They're just injected.
and then injected with cream.
Sushi.
Oh,
Is a wrap.
Wrap. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's sushi roll.
A sushi roll, not
Except
like
it's
not
not-
like nigiri. Like
Yeah. The fish wrap. Or is it rice?
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah,
I don't know.
sushi is a wrap because it is open on both ends and rolled to be made.
Do you not like the word fish?
Something about a fish wrap made me uncomfortable. Yeah, the word fish doesn't bother me, but fish wrap makes me a little uncomfortable.
Naturally.
Okay, so we're breaking ground here.
We are.
New question. Same category or same topic. Is a bagel
I thought bagels while we were talking
A
earlier.
donut.
I was thinking about bagels.
because
love a
again,
bagel.
donuts can have holes.
Well, bagels can too if they want.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Ogres have layers. Onions have layers.
So is a
So-
bagel a donut, or do donuts does like a Krispy Kreme original glazed donut, because it's just donut ring. It's a donut ring. Let's call it a donut ring. Are donut rings bagels, or are bagels donut rings?
I think bagels are the exact opposite of an Uncrustable.
I think.
I think they just take the middle. I think they keep the crust.
I
it's
think-
just it's all crust.
Yeah.
I think the second you put something in your bagel, on your bagel, it becomes a sandwich. Before that, donut.
You're totally
Does it
right.
become a sandwich?
You're
though?
totally right. Yes,
Yes.
because it's two separate pieces.
Two separate pieces of bread
Here's the
with
thing, it's-
filling
Yeah,
in
but
between.
this bread has a hole in it.
They are cut as two separate pieces. So when you put something in it, it is being
Straight down the middle.
sandwiched in between.
The second you
Okay.
put cream cheese or whatever you're
Anything
putting
on
in
it.
your bagel,
Yeah, it becomes
Sandwich.
a sandwich.
That becomes a
before
sandwich.
It's a
donut.
donut. Okay.
mm-hmm.
Or are donuts bagels? In this case, you'd have to look up which was created first.
I think so. I actually think it is the bagel because
I also want to say
I think I know the origin of this. This was in like a useless
Didn't
book
somebody
of facts
mess
that-
up the bagel and make a donut?
It was like, no, I thought it was on like a ship. Like they brought bread on a ship and the bread got soggy on the ship, like when it was being stored. So they cut out the middle to get rid of the soggy part. And they're like, I could be making
They were
that
like the bagel.
up. The bagel.
I'll just go ahead and look up the origin.
Google it.
Yeah, look up-
Meg's our fact checker.
Look up when the first donut was created and when the first bagel was created. And whichever one was first, we have our answer.
Maybe it is somebody messed up because that story also sounds familiar.
Yeah, it does sound familiar.
Right.
It gotta be the early 300s.
It's like asking when the wheel was invented.
So
Well,
the
that's like
first-
we have an answer for that.
So the
We do?
first recorded
Yeah.
recipe for a donut appeared in a cookbook in 1803.
Okay, but what kind of donut? A donut ring or a donut? Like a whole
It says, but the modern donut with the hole in the center created in 1847 by an American man named Hanson Gregory. What a name.
So
Donuts
we
have
are
only
in
been around
full
for
on pre-Civil War America right now, and this man is inventing donuts.
Donuts have only been around for 160 some odd years.
That's like how the gazebo was invented in 1863, like mid-Civil War. Sorry, that's completely off topic, but I think it's funny.
The
Continue.
bagel's exact origins are unclear, but history has rooted it to the 17th century to
1800s.
a Jewish
Bagels.
baker. The first word bagel dates back to 1610.
Oh my god.
So the bagel
And it was
came
spelled-
first.
Beygel.
Yeah.
Bagel.
So okay, so we have to
Bagel.
rethink things now.
But some
Mhm.
people think it was influenced after the German pretzel in the 13th century.
Pretzels.
So, like, either way, the bagel wins.
Pretzels.
so are bagels pretzels?
I think they were just.
Bagels are really just pretzels that are
Bagels-
I think
like
the
fluffed
bagels got inspired by the pretzel, but they are
Gonna
not
say.
pretzels. Don't get me started on the pretzels.
out.
How
Is
were
the
bagels not
what about
pretzels?
when you put like cheese on a pretzel,
And it's a big.
And it's a cheese pretzel?
or is it a sandwich?
No, because you're not
Uh.
sandwiching. You're not sandwiching anything.
You're dipping. Is it a chip? Chips and salsa. Where do we put chips in this?
All chips are nachos.
Okay.
No, because I eat mine plain.
You need nachos plain.
Just have the.
Nachos can have a variety of toppings, cheese
But
included.
if it doesn't have a topping, then it's not a nacho.
You're right. Then it's just a chip. Chips are just chips.
Chips or chips?
Chips are chips. Nachos can be chips if
Are
they are not
pretzels
if they are
chips?
untopped. Pretzels are not chips.
Ever?
Never. Because chips
Even when
are
they're like the hard pretzels?
correct.
They're in the chip aisle.
Yes, because they crunch like a chip,
Do?
but they do not
Not a chip.
resemble chip.
What about a Cheeto Puff?
Cheeto Puffs are puffs. Cheeto Puffs.
What a conversation we're having.
Puffs are a different thing entirely. And then what is popcorn?
Ooh.
Popcorn's just literally that. It's popped corn. That's the thing is like, we put umbrella terms over food that we eat for meals.
What
but when it comes to
about-
snacks, we got very specific.
What about cupcake with icing in the middle of it?
Donut.
Donut.
Okay.
Unless do what I think it's you. Unless it's what you and I do.
Yeah,
Where we
I
take
take
the
the bottom
bottom
half
and
of my
put it on the
cupcake and
top.
put it on
Sandwich.
top. That's
Then you're
sandwich?
sandwiching it. Yeah.
Now, you yourself have just made a sandwich, but it does not remain not a
It
cupcake.
doesn't classify as
Yeah.
a sandwich.
Cupcake.
Yeah. It's you have sandwiched it, but it is
I'm
still a cupcake.
So you can almost say sandwich is a verb.
Well, yeah, to sandwich something.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah,
it's not.
maybe-
You could say
Maybe
it is a
sandwich
verb.
is
I don't
not.
think
Wait a
you-
minute. Maybe the
no
argument
was made against you there.
But
She
no.
did not.
What if the argument is not if a hot dog is a sandwich or not? What if it's just sandwich is how you eat the thing? It's not how the thing is, it's how you
Eat it.
consume the thing.
See, now you're getting into the territory of what Dave and I talked about all those years ago on this podcast.
I
Is
didn't know,
we
Dave.
started organizing things into how do you hold and eat them?
Mm-hmm.
Because I hold a sandwich like this.
I'm looking.
I
at
hold
the
a burger
origin.
like this.
Mm-hmm.
I hold a hot dog like this. I hold a taco like this. So that made hot dogs and tacos very similar.
Right.
I hold a pizza.
I hold a donut like this.
But what else do you hold like that? Probably nothing.
I hold a bagel like this.
If it's got stuff in it.
But if I take the bagel apart in two halves, I'm eating it like this.
Like a hot dog.
Yeah.
Which is why we can't get into how do you hold it. It's how is it designed? What is its intended state is what Nicholas and I settled on.
Mm-hmm.
So the intended state of these things is what makes them what they are.
Right.
Again, with some varying exceptions, because you slice a bagel, you still consider it a bagel until you put something in the middle of it. Like if you slice a bagel, it doesn't just make it bread. It still makes it a bagel. The second you put stuff on it, we deem it a sandwich. A bagel sandwich, but a sandwich nonetheless.
A sandwich was created because somebody made a sandwich, not because of the term. So I don't think it matters how you eat it.
I think that's a good starting point then. So then a donut ring, a glazed donut, typical run-of-the-mill donut, is a bagel, but not all donuts are bagels. Only holy donuts are bagels.
All bagels are donuts, but not all donuts are bagels.
No.
Oh.
All bagels are bagels because the bagel was invented first.
Right.
Some donuts,
Some donuts are bagels, but not
not
all
all
bagels
donuts.
are donuts.
but no bagels are donuts. Some donuts are bagels, but not a single bagel has ever been a donut. Which then brings us to one of our other major categories. Subs.
Hmm?
Right. So it can be called a submarine sandwich sometimes. Sometimes it's just called a sub.
sandwich.
Yeah. Because sub rolls, or when you order a sub, it ends up being bread, all the stuff, bread, separated. Thus, you would say, this is a sandwich. However, a sub roll was made as an entire roll and then sliced. So the intended state of that bread, like if you go to Subway,
Is
they
sandwich.
keep the hinge. They don't
Yeah.
unhinge it.
So does Publix.
Then I think
what I was
that's a
thinking.
hot dog.
That's what I said. Is that that a hot dog? It's not a hot dog. A hot dog is a sub, not the other way around.
Huh.
Yeah.
Which one came first?
Well, see, I think in this case, because you can have subs without meat. A hot dog is not a hot dog without meat. Even if it's a vegetarian hot dog, it's not a hot dog without a meat thing. So I think just because there are less hot dogs and more varieties of sub, hot dogs fall under subcategory. So yes, sometimes it's which was created first. Other times it's which has more of them.
This is gonna hurt my head. Pub subs. They have the hinge.
They have the hinge. Subway subs have the hinge. Walmart subs, if you ever get those.
So
Every
is a
time and
hot
again, if I'm
dog
feeling low, I will.
only a hot
Some-
dog because of the wiener.
Some of the Subway sandwiches.
He brought up a great point. Nicholas said the same thing because a hot dog is just the meat.
Yeah, because when
You
you go
still-
buy hot dogs,
you are
you're
just
not
buying
buying the
the wiener.
buns. You're
Yeah.
buying the meat.
Yes. So
So-
that's why you can specify I would like a hot dog without the bun, or I would like a hot dog
With the
with
bun.
bun.
Yeah.
Sometimes you will see it on menus, hot dog with bun.
But then if you add the bun, does that make it a sub?
Does it? Or does it just make it hot dog with
Ooh.
bun?
I think
Which
it-
then brought us to
Hot
our
dog with
next
bun.
point. And here's where people started getting angry with
But
us.
what about a salad?
Because if
It's
you
just without the
put
bun.
a hot dog, a wiener, in any dough thing and fold it, it becomes hot dog with bun no matter what item you've put the hot dog in. If you put a hot dog in a donut, in a bagel, in a sandwich, in an Uncrustable, in a Stromboli, and fold it around the hot dog, it becomes hot dog with bun.
See,
Always.
I
I'm
have a
going to make the
question.
argument that if you put, so like for example, if you put it in a calzone,
put it in a bun.
if you put a hot dog meat in like calzone dough, fold it up the way a calzone is made, I'm going to make the argument it is.
Well,
Now
that's still a cannoli. That's still a dumpling.
What?
If
Wait,
you're saying you
what are you
take
trying
hot
to
dog
say?
meat and put it in a calzone and
Because
make a calzone,
you said if you take a hot dog and put it in any other bread, it becomes hot dog with bun.
But you're saying a calzone already has.
No, I'm going to make the argument it's stromboli with hot dog or
oh,
calzone
Stromboli
with hot dog. Not the other way around.
See,
It's
no,
not
but I'm
hot
not
dog
saying-
with bun.
I'm not
It's
saying-
bun with hot dog.
I'm not saying chop up hot dog, put it in a calzone, make a calzone.
Hot
I'm
dog
saying
full
take
length.
a calzone, stick a hot dog in it, and fold it around the hot dog. You've
It's
got a
hot-
fully made calzone, fully made. And you stick a hot dog on the outside of it and fold it around the hot dog to make it the bun.
Yeah, but
it's hot dog with
what
bun.
psychopath?
Hot
is
dog
doing
with
that?
calzone.
I
bun.
have a question.
Yes.
A sub has lettuce, tomatoes, whatever you want on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is a salad just salad with bun?
You mean as a sub, just salad with bun?
Yeah.
Because
Because that is the same thing you put on a sub. You're
Yeah.
just not eating it with the bread.
or a salad is just a
So then
A
why call it a
bunless
sub?
sub.
If we're calling a hot dog and not a sub, then why is that called a sub and not salad?
See, that is a good point because like when you put turkey on a sub, you don't call it a turkey, you call it a turkey sub.
Mm.
But you would never call a hot dog sub. You always say you're eating a hot dog, bun or bunless. You're eating a hot
You're
dog.
eating a hot dog. Yeah, that's
So-
fair. That's fair.
The hot dog with bun thing, you technically yes, anything folded around a hot dog becomes the bun, and therefore you're still eating a hot dog with a bun. The bun could change. I think the hot dog falls into its own category because the hot dog is still a hot dog regardless of if it's got bread around it.
Fair.
Even though the bun
So then,
typically eaten around a hot dog looks like a sub but roll,
well, then you just debunked the whole is a hot dog a sandwich because no, it's just a hot
'Cause
dog.
no.
it's just a hot dog.
It could be a sandwich. Could
It-
also be anything else.
It could be eaten like a sandwich.
Doesn't mean it is a sandwich.
Does not make it a sandwich.
That's what I'm saying. Sandwich is just
No, a sandwich is a thing. It's also a verb, but it is a thing. Anything can be eaten like a sandwich,
including a
This
hot
is
dog.
stupid.
including your cupcake.
Nouns are like objects, right?
Person, place, thing, yes.
So then it's also a noun. Sandwich, right? Yeah.
Yeah, very
Okay,
good.
Thank you.
English with
I
Annabelle
really-
and Megan.
Wait a minute. I was not included in that.
I
knew
really
what was
just wanted
going
to
on.
figure out that I was not tripping. Okay. Anyway,
right.
so it's a verb and a noun. Got it.
Yeah.
That's all.
Could be an adjective because you're describing.
How so?
That I don't know.
Sandwichy person. Yeah, they were so sandwichy.
I don't know where I was going with that.
Neither do I. Could be an adverb.
I was just
I
getting
mean,
Ly
clarification.
sandwichly.
I don't think I know how verbs work either.
Ly. That's
They're
Sandwichly.
descriptive. Whoa,
Quickly ran.
yeah. It's a
Adverb
verb that describes
describes a-
something.
No, it's a thing that describes a verb.
No. Yes. What's an adjective?
It's an adjective that describes a verb.
An adjective is something you're doing, right?
No, an adjective
Sorry,
is a
it's a verb that
I'm so
describes an adjective.
confused.
There we go.
A verb-
My mother calls me on a weekly basis and says, "You guys sound so dumb," and I
It's a
never know
verb-
what she talks
Okay.
about, and now I do.
Joe Mama, it's a verb that describes an adjective.
What is?
An adverb.
Yeah, I mean,
No,
or
an
also-
adverb is an adjective that describes a verb.
But what is an adjective?
Describes a noun.
It's a description.
Okay, so
Huge.
then yes. So
Huge
yes,
is
then
an
it-
adjective.
Then it is an,
Quickly is an adverb.
then is it is
Quick
a verb
is
described
an
by
adjective.
an adjective.
Quickly is the verb that describes the adjective.
If you keep saying it's a verb that describes an adjective, I'm gonna beat
It is
the
a
fuck out of you.
verb.
It
It's
is a verb.
being described with an adjective.
What?
No.
Quick is not a verb.
Quick is an adjective. That's why I'm saying quickly is the verb that describes. You do something quickly. That is a verb.
then-
Doing something makes it a verb.
No, the doing something is the verb.
Correct. You do something quickly.
So the adjective
Quickly
is
quick.
is not a verb.
Quick
So
is the
saying-
adjective.
So saying quickly ran is running is the verb and quickly is the adjective. So you're describing the verb with the adjective.
Adverb.
Therefore,
You keep saying verb, you mean adverb.
Or else
Quickly
it
is
would-
the adverb.
it would be verbab.
Shut the hell up.
But it's not.
You guys
It's
have it all
adverb.
backwards. No, you what you're trying to
Don't
say
look at
is
me
right.
like that.
Quickly is the adjective that describes the verb to follow. Or the verb preceding. He ran quickly. Quickly is the adverb describing how fast he was running. Or he quickly ran. He quickly ran. The quickly is the adverb describing the verb to follow. I swear.
we gotta change.
That's a good picture.
Let me see it. Change the topic. I can't talk about this
Right.
anymore.
What is a hamburger?
A sandwich.
Yeah.
Annabelle being taught.
What is so you think a hamburger is a sandwich?
Yes.
Yes.
Bread, filling bread. Eat it like this.
Okay, let me ask you
Sandwich.
this. What's
A
the
burger
what
is
what
a-
was the intended state of what a hot hamburger goes on? What was the intended state of the bread that the hamburger sits within?
Sesame? Like, what do you? What do you?
Not type.
What does a hamburger sit on?
Bread,
Buns.
buns. Okay,
And so what are
that's
buns?
where we're going.
Buns are one piece of bread.
Oh,
No. Okay, for hot dogs, yes, but not for hamburgers.
No, you bake a bun as one piece.
and then you cut it. And we talked about this with the bagel. The second you put something in it, becomes a sandwich. A bagel is also one piece of bread. The second you cut it and put something in it, it becomes a sandwich.
But the burger.
But the burger.
buns-
But the burger.
Yeah. What the burger? What?
the burger bun comes cut already.
It doesn't
It's
come out of
already-
the oven
it
cut.
never. It doesn't have a hinge like
But
a hot dog
if
bun.
with that being said, a loaf of bread doesn't come out of the oven cut either. So that is you're absolutely right. They sell them sliced.
I think that's
all
the
way
thing.
through.
Any bread could be whole, but the second you cut it and put something in it,
Sandwich.
I'm
if
gonna
the
contact
situation
each
arises,
company
yes, it's a
of
sandwich.
these bread of these
Of
brands.
these bread.
I'm still stuck on the whole Uncrustable thing.
Of these
I
brands.
get it.
I'm gonna contact on.
But isn't it
I'm
wild?
not confused about it,
Yeah,
but that's crazy.
it is crazy.
That it's not a
It's
sandwich.
a dumpling. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. You can get your own Uncrustable maker.
Yes.
They sell them in
Like
stores.
the-
Yeah, like you
Yeah.
can just do it yourself.
Yeah.
So I think it's still.
Not.
You still think it's a dumpling?
I don't think it's. I know it's a dumpling.
I think I'm not happy that it's a dumpling.
Yeah, but a dumpling isn't two pieces. It's already one. You just folded it and pressed it together.
You are absolutely correct, which is an argument that I made. However, now, but a big turning point
However, ravioli
the-
is two pieces.
was the crimped edge.
Crimped edge, I think, sells it as dumpling.
Yeah.
Because if you're saying ravioli is dumpling too, same thing.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll just accept it.
Yeah. Did you hear the fact that a pie is a dump?
We were
is
while you
dumpling?
were gone, we were
Pies
talking
are
about how a
dumplings.
pie.
That's I saw a spider in the bathroom.
Okay.
that's why I was missing. I just don't think that's true.
No, a sealed
If you
pie.
have a sealed pie, like a cherry pie, you put crust,
And you're crimping.
filling, crust, and you crimp the edges. It's a big dumpling.
Big dumpling. But if you cut holes in the crust or you leave it at an open pie, then if you cut holes, it's a donut.
Wait
you
a minute.
leave it open, it's a pie.
Speaking of open, you ever had an open faced sandwich?
Yeah.
It's missing its top layer of bread.
It is, so therefore it's not a sandwich.
What does that even mean?
I really don't know how else to explain it
What,
to
you
you
don't know
other
what an
than
open-faced sandwich
open
is?
faced sandwich.
No.
It's your sandwich,
It's a sandwich?
just sitting on a on a
you took
bottom piece of bread.
The top layer of bread off.
So then what's the fuck? What's the point?
What's the fuck? You're right. What? Because people think they're fancy by eating. I'm eating an open-faced chicken
You can't
sandwich.
even eat it like a sandwich.
No,
You would have to.
you eat it with a fork and knife. I would argue because you don't have cold open-faced sandwiches, you have warm. I would say they're flatbreads, which therefore pizza.
Okay,
Oh
Yeah.
man.
I can accept that.
Open-faced sandwiches are just pizza,
All right.
and pizza's
Pizza.
pizza is pie.
Pepsi's Pepsi.
No, pizza is pie because it's crust.
But only
So
when
then
pie
does-
is not a dumpling.
Does that make?
Oh my god, that makes open-faced sandwiches pies.
That's what I just was gonna say. Yeah. So that doesn't make
What's
sense.
not a dumpling?
I said pizza is only a pie when a pie is not a dumpling.
Correct.
Bless
Or
you.
a donut.
All right, thank you.
And that's because those pies are not pies; they are donuts or
I
dumplings.
literally need a flow chart.
And I'll make one.
I need like a whiteboard
Yeah, you need to draw the family
connecting all
tree
the dots. The family tree
because
of
sandwiches
bread
and
and
subs,
filling.
sandwiches and subs are very closely related. They have a common ancestor, which is bread.
Wait, so why did we decide that subs aren't sandwiches? Because they have the hinge?
hinge.
But not all of them, right?
Not all, but majority. So therefore, we're going to classify every
don't eat a lot
sub.
of
Every
subs.
sub could have a
Okay.
hinge. Some just choose not to.
That's fair. Okay.
So, God, where were we? Flatbreads, open-faced sandwiches are just pies.
Mm.
But if you take a pizza and you get stuffed crust pizza,
Mm.
that crust is
Donut.
no, because
Because you roll it.
you've rolled and pinched, sealed.
Dumpling.
It's a dumpling. It's a pizza it's a pie with dumpling crust. Yeah.
Wait, say
Yeah.
that again?
If you
So-
get stuffed crust pizza,
Oh man.
It's-
The pizza is a pie,
the pizza is a pie,
but the crust
is dumpling.
is dumpling.
So can
So you're eating
I-
pizza and dumpling
That
together.
just felt like
or
I was
pie
on
and
like that
dumpling
just felt
together.
like I was like on a soap opera or something, and
Yeah.
you just revealed somebody came back from
Yeah,
the dead.
They were your brother the whole time.
I'm gonna start telling people I eat dumplings.
I'm gonna like,
Yeah, you do. You probably eat a lot of dumplings,
and you don't even know.
and you don't even know.
Don't even know.
That's wild. Yeah.
Ask Kate.
Oreos,
Sandwiches.
sandwich cookies.
I think they actually say
it says sandwich cookies.
Yeah. That's cut and dry sandwich.
'Kay.
Two pieces of the same thing. Something in the
A
middle.
Reese's peanut butter cup.
Dumpling.
Donut.
Wait. Might be donut. Do they
I don't
fill
know
them?
though. I don't. Do they fill them and then just cover the hole back up?
Well, if they cover the hole, they make it a dumpling.
Caitlin said a hot
Dumpling.
dog is not a sandwich, by the way. I just
Caitlin
said.
would be correct. Hot dogs are hot dogs. Hot dogs are a category of their own, closely related perhaps to a sub because of bun shape.
Only if you use it with a bun. Use it with
Hot
a
dog
bun.
with bun, yeah.
Hot dog with bun.
Hot
dog parentheses with bun.
Yeah.
Close parentheses.
So burgers are sandwiches. We have settled
Burger is a
fully on that.
sandwich.
Burger
I
is a
don't think I
sandwich.
was ever in doubt
Okay.
that a burger was a sandwich.
We're in agreement. Okay, just making sure I got my ducks in a row.
I feel like with all these,
My
we're pretty
sandwiches in
much
a row.
all in agreement now.
Just mentioned what were we just talking about?
Reese's peanut butter cup.
Reese's peanut butter cups. I would say are dumpling.
TM.
Yeah, TM trademark are definitely dumpling. And
How do they get the peanut butter in there?
Peanut M&Ms dumplings. Actually, any M&M with anything in it is a dumpling,
However, not pinched.
but fully sealed.
Okay.
Yeah, but
So
how did
the
they
dumpling
seal
is
it?
the seal, not the pinch.
Not
Wait.
necessarily. The pinch is what convinces you of the
Wait. How is the M&M
sorry,
sealed?
the pinch is what makes the Uncrustable obvious dumpling. Others are less obvious dumpling.
Okay.
Subtle
okay,
dumpling.
Okay.
Sorry, what was your question, Meg?
How is it sealed?
How is-
An M&M, like it.
With chocolate and a candy coating.
Yeah, but it doesn't get.
It's poured
Dipped?
on.
Actually, M&Ms are technically double dumplings.
Yeah, because chocolate
Yeah,
and
but
candy.
and candy.
they're being dipped, not folded.
Also true.
I'm looking
That's
it
like
up.
saying a chocolate covered pretzel is a dumpling.
Oh, is a chocolate covered pretzel just an M&M?
Are M&Ms their own separate thing?
That's a good one. You're right. It's dipped.
Not folded.
I'm looking it up.
Dipped.
If it's dipped, then it just becomes a chip adjacent.
The peanut is the chip, though.
The peanut becomes
The
the.
chocolate
So it's
is
a
the
nacho?
salsa.
It becomes a nacho.
Becomes a nacho. Oh my god, M&Ms are nachos.
M&Ms are nacho.
Man,
but
I
only
really didn't think I
filled.
liked
Only
nachos.
filled
Only the filled
M&Ms.
M&Ms. However, normal M&Ms are coated in the candy.
Also
Chocolate
dipped.
is coated in the candy.
But chocolate can't be a nacho, right?
I think the coating is the cheese of this equation. So I think the chocolate is the nacho or the chip.
So all M&Ms are nachos.
Yeah, if that's how we're classifying.
Any covered,
Any dipped thing.
any dipped thing.
What else do you
nacho.
dip? Oh God, everything's dipped.
I was gonna say. Well, like with candy bars, they pour the chocolate on top. So like they have like the nougat or whatever is on the inside, and then they pour like from the top the chocolate over it.
See, I
So-
would make the argument then that candy and chocolate have to be sorted into their own.
Unknown
So what
separate
about
category. I
French
like
fry?
the idea that they're nachos though.
French fry dipped in ketchup.
Chips.
Nachos.
Uh,
According to the
Nachos.
British, chips.
chips.
Yeah.
And
Um,
if they are chips, they are nachos because
Do
you've
you think
dipped.
they're nachos?
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
So chips and nachos are interchangeable. You could dip every chip, thus
Mm.
making it a nacho.
Okay,
Or you
is-
could get nachos uncovered.
Is the
That's making them
is
just
the
chips.
nacho the dip? What is the dip?
The dip is the salsa, the cheese, the
No,
whatever.
no,
Anything,
not what
anything
is
that
the
goes
dip.
on top or gets dipped.
What-
Actually, no. I changed that. A dip is separate from a topping. Nachos have the topping
They have
on
toppings. They don't have. They don't.
it. They don't have.
You
yeah,
can dip nacho chips,
right. But I don't think it becomes.
but they're
a
not nacho chips. They're tortilla chips.
So I don't think because it's dipped it makes it a nacho. I think if it's coated on top, then it's a nacho. Anything dipped is just dipped.
Yeah, you're just dipping that item.
Okay, so the dipping itself does not make it like a nacho.
No, no,
or,
that's its own
okay.
separate
I was
thing.
gonna say what
So
happens
scratch
when
everything
you.
we just.
I
The
was
past
gonna
5
say-
minutes, forget it.
I was gonna say if that was true, what happens when you dip a donut into coffee?
I think you're just dipping it.
You're just dipping it. You
That's
can't-
what I
you
was gonna
can't go
say.
down that rabbit hole.
If
Yeah.
dipping made it
So
something
dipping
else,
no
Yeah.
longer makes it anything.
There has got to be research out there proving all of us wrong.
I could write on this conversation that we've had just now in this 45
49
minutes?
Yeah.
I could write a 50-page dissertation and defend it against
Yeah, for sure.
scientists.
Yeah,
For sure.
100%. We're going to create a flowchart.
Uh-huh.
We're going to post it on our Instagram. Thanks, Meg B.
Right.
Right.
Might be your new
right.
social media manager.
We
yeah,
gotta
Meg
talk
B,
about
new
that.
social media. What, you don't want to do it anymore?
Yeah, you just haven't told me anything about it.
I just haven't given you the password of the login. But anyways, so that pretty much summarizes the majority and then some of the conversation that Nicholas and I have had over the past few days of work.
Mm-hmm.
Safe to say we've gotten
Brought
no
up a
work
lot
done.
of new points.
Yeah.
Good points.
Very, very solid points.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think of any others that have slipped under the radar.
I'm also trying to think of
I think we've covered pretty much everything.
What about breaded chicken?
What about breaded?
That is filling inside a bread. Is that dumpling?
No, it gets dipped in the breading.
That's good.
It gets dipped in. It gets.
Right. That was a really convincing argument.
Yeah.
I've done it myself. Have you ever made them yourself?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Fried chicken, yeah.
okay. I
Okay. That's what she
well
just
then
looked like.
you would know that you're dipping it. You're not filling anything.
True. You're not taking
You're
breading
not
and
taking
shoving chicken
chicken
inside
and
it.
injecting it into the breading.
Ugh, that's so gross.
Exactly. And
Just liquid chicken.
and the thought of it was gross. So
Yeah, you're absolutely.
However,
Well, if you inject it, it would make it a donut.
but we're also dipping chips and
Exactly.
fries and things. So does that make chicken
that it all makes it a
fries
dip.
and chips?
I think whatever it's
Dipping is just an action.
okay. I think so. Dipping is an action, but I think whatever you dip it in becomes the dip. So
I
like, ketchup
understand
is a dip.
dipping is
The
just the
breading is the
action.
dip.
I understand dipping is just the action. That doesn't negate the fact that chicken nuggets are still chicken within bread. So what
So-
are we putting that in?
Because it's not
Dips.
really within bread. It's within flour. Yeah, and yes,
Okay.
flour makes bread,
Breading.
but all bread is flour, but not all flour is
The
bread.
bread
I think we
of
just
God is bread. You ever seen that John Mulaney skit?
Yes. Yes, not all flour is
I was
bread.
hoping somebody was going to understand what I
Not
was
all
doing.
flour is bread, but all bread is flour.
I think you need to create a separate category for whenever you dip something in. Because flour becomes
I would disagree.
I think I do
Pie.
too.
I wouldn't call fried chicken anything other than chicken.
well. You're not calling the fried chicken
It's-
a dip. You're just calling what it's dipped in.
It's just chicken with breading, just like hot dog with bun. Because chicken is still chicken. If you
With breading is parentheses.
Hot dog
if
with
you
bun.
if you take away the breading, you've still got chicken. You can have chicken with or without breading on it.
Where are we going with cake? Cake, just cake.
Oof.
What about?
Fluffy.
Oh my God,
It's fluffy.
Joe!
Isn't
I'm gonna
cake
wait a
pie?
minute. I'm gonna blow your mind.
Yeah, I think
What about cake with layers and icing in between the layers? Because I said the second you put anything in between it,
sandwich.
Well, yeah.
A layered cake is a sandwiched pie.
Is it? Oh,
ooh,
Pie sandwich.
yeah, a pie witch.
pie witch, if you
Um,
will.
I will.
I will.
Yeah, I think
Next time we go to the store together,
if you have
hey, you want to get a pie
if you have a multi-layer cake with filling in the middle,
Mm-hmm.
each layer is it's like a triple decker sandwich at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you add the frosting and things on top, the toppings, it becomes a pie. Technically, it would become pizza, but all pizzas are pie.
Why does it become a pie?
Because you've put
The
things.
crust, I think, makes it a.
You forget to cherish it.
How do you lose a woman? You forget to cherish her.
That's something that made me think of.
Yeah.
Why is it a pie?
Because of the crust, and then you're putting
What
something on top
crust?
without
You're right. It
the
doesn't have.
crust.
There's no crust on a cake. You
You've-
kept saying pie, and I was like, "What are we talking about right now?"
Could the icing around it be considered crust?
Icing's on top.
Well, around the cake.
What? Sorry, that can't-
Tell me right now, like when you. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
On the sides of the cake, you put icing around it. You don't just leave it open.
Yeah, but it's not crust. It's just more icing.
I just didn't know if that would be considered the crust.
I don't think so
No.
because we've been talking about bread, and there's no bread like on the bottom of the cake other than the cake itself.
Yeah, I guess you could call it.
A flatbread. Yeah, because crust.
They still do.
I think.
Flatbreads kind of have a crust.
I think
What do you think?
it's a bagel.
No,
No.
you are so wrong.
Why? Why?
Why? Because
I
bagels.
thought the bagels have the holes.
Because bagels have holes.
Okay.
Actually, not all of them. The Asiago bagels I eat do not have holes, but they are considered a bagel. Stop it.
Ignore that. Cakes are not Asiago bagels.
Well, I know that. I'm just arguing the fact that not all bagels have them.
Okay.
Cake might be its own thing, but you
Yeah,
can.
wait a minute.
have
Wait a minute.
But you can
Pastry.
turn a cake into a sandwich.
What about
It's just covered.
So cake can be a sandwich. We get
You
that.
just make a pastry.
But if it's not a sandwich,
Then it's an open-faced sandwich.
then it's just a layer of bread.
well, then it's just a sandwich because
It's a layer of bread with stuff on it, thus making
So
it
it's
an
It would be a
open-faced
sandwich
sandwich.
because-
Which
When
we said
is pizza, which we said
which
is pie.
pizza, which
So
we said is pie.
therefore, like I said earlier, all cakes are pies.
Did you say that?
Yeah, and you said, how are you getting pie? Pie has crust. Cake doesn't have crust. Neither does an open-faced sandwich.
but neither do Uncrustables. And they are dumplings.
Is
Yeah,
cake,
but it's not the
Is a cake
crust.
dumpling?
No, because it's not
Is a
hinged together.
cake dumpling? No. If you look at the bottom of a cake, do you see
What a
full seal?
crazy thing to say.
Is cake dumpling?
Was the? Of course, it's not a.
No,
dumpling.
are you
This
insane?
whole conversation. That was what got. That was.
Yeah,
That was.
that's
too
what
far.
pissed me off.
That's what crossed the
I
line.
told you at one point I was going to get angry. The second you said is cake dumpling, no. No, it's not dumpling. Because that would imply that frosting can be the same thing as dough, and it is not.
No, the frosting is the filling.
Exactly. And the filling's on the outside, so therefore
There's
pie.
also filling on the inside, though.
That's what makes it sandwich.
It's a sandwich.
Cake is only a sandwich if there's more than one layer.
So if it's not more than one layer, then it's a.
If it's just cake with frosting,
It's a pie.
it's an open face sandwich, which is pizza, which is pie. I don't even need a flow chart.
And we will make one. Anyways, I think anybody else got any food things to bring up?
Is an egg roll a burrito?
Egg rolls a wrap.
It might be a burrito.
Egg rolls a burrito.
I think it's a
fried
burrito.
burrito, yeah.
Fried burrito.
Damn, I love egg rolls. Good one. Egg rolls. That's a solid mention. Spring rolls,
Mhm.
same thing.
Spring rolls, egg rolls. I'm trying to think of anything else.
I don't know the difference between a spring roll and an egg roll.
What about a churro?
Technically, the ones at Magic Kingdom that you get are egg rolls. Those are, I don't know why they call them spring rolls or not. Spring rolls are like the really thin.
Oh, like
Wrap.
see-through wrap. Yeah.
That's a spring roll.
Okay. Duh.
Is a churro a donut? Because it has
Churro.
the hole that goes through it. Do they all have the hole that goes through it? They
No. I don't know if all of them do, but a lot of them do. Churros, I would say, are donuts.
doesn't have anything in it.
Doesn't need to.
I think just pastry
It's
needs to
true.
be its own thing.
That would make it a
See, like-
fucking bagel.
Okay, what about a cannoli?
Churros are. We said cannoli. It's a wrap.
Oh, okay.
Churros are bagels.
Churros are bagels.
Good.
If they have a hole. If they don't have a hole, they're a donut.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's fair.
Anyways, what did you have? Now that we spent the last almost hour talking about
No,
this
that's
one thing, I
crazy.
told you it was going to take a long time.
Wow. Well, I was going to talk about a plane crash, but
The one in India?
I heard about this. I know nothing.
so
It was like,
I know a little bit because I'm flying next week and I have chronic OCD and I
right, so you're
obsess
convinced
over
your plane's
things.
going to crash.
is that
Yeah.
why you updated to Premiere?
I don't think it's
No.
going to stop the plane from crashing.
the
if she's
plane's
sitting
going
in
to
a better
crash
seat.
either way.
Oh,
So,
I
you
d-
mean so she can drink?
So she can drink.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
You're
100%.
like, if I'm going down, I'm
So
going
the
down
crash,
drunk.
the crash was like, I'm gonna update to Premiere so I can drink before
If
the
I'm
crash.
yeah. So long story short, I'm flying next week and I upgraded my seat so I could get free wine and spirits and everything, except I paid money for it, so it's really not.
It's free if
um,
you start going over what you paid for.
Correct. I'm good at flying. I'm not good at flying. I'm good at being on
Yeah,
a
you just
plane
flap
while
your
it's
wings really
flying. I'm good at being on a plane while it's flying.
Right.
But then things like, I feel like the last few times I've flown, massive plane crashes have happened right before I've had to fly. And then that's all I'm thinking about the entire time I'm on a plane. So anyway, I upgraded so I could be drunk off my ass while I'm in the air. Anyway, long story short, all that to say, a couple days ago, there was a flight out of India that was going to England. And it was a huge commercial flight, like big
think they
Boeing
said-
787.
Oh, Boeing?
Yeah.
Those things are dropping out of
How
the
many
sky.
people were on it?
So
Like
it was
200?
242 people. There was one survivor.
Hey, didn't this guy just walk away? You
I
just like
think-
walked out
I
of the
think
wreckage.
so.
Something to that extent. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, 242 people, one person survived it. And more on the Boeing thing, because there's a running joke in my family. The last time I flew on a Boeing plane, and I told my mom, I was like, I'm not going to make it. Airbus is so much better.
Yeah.
So much better. Anyway, so it's a whole thing, but I don't know why that's what I was going to talk. I was reading it, and the
But this
whole
guy-
I was
it's
watching a
so
bunch of stuff
interesting though,
about it
because
today.
they're looking at the black box now.
Yeah.
They don't know why this plane crashed. At least not until they
Well,
look into the black box.
did you
They
hear-
don't have any idea why this plane crashed. All they know is that it took off. It was in the air for 30 seconds. It only ascended 400 feet, which in terms of planes, not that high.
Not a lot.
And it immediately came back down and crashed.
Did you see any videos about it? Like, did you see the plane going up and then down? There was also a video about how inside the plane, nothing was working.
Yeah.
The AC wasn't working. The TVs weren't working. All those are little things. Like, nothing was working.
Landing gear there was an interview that a pilot did, and they said the landing gear was still down, or they found the landing gear still down, I guess, and they said that was weird, that usually they would have put it up by then. So obviously they couldn't get the landing gear up anyway either. So it was just it's very weird. I can't wait to see what they come out with
Yeah.
for why there was such a big issue, because obviously something was working because the plane took off.
Yeah.
So it's not like there was complete engine failure, because the plane went up into the air. But it was just weird because literally 30 seconds later came straight back down, and they said it glided, but I've seen pictures of the wreckage, and
Didn't
it
do
is
very well.
That did not glide. Even if the
So
landing gear was down, they
how
would have done
did-
better, I think.
How did somebody walk away?
I don't know, because
Actually,
if you look at the pictures of this wreckage, it is like you can't even call it debris.
yeah, no.
It's unsalvageable.
And
literally anything in it.
For somebody who was in a plane crash,
He looks very well adjusted.
he has his injuries are not as serious as they should.
Oh, I was talking about like the interview they had with it, because he
That
did an
too,
interview, and
yes,
he
that
seems
too.
very normal
Yeah, like
about this.
he
I would never.
he hurt his eye or something like that. Like it was, yeah. That's one of the things that he hurt. He injured his eye during this.
That's funny.
But and then two other things that are very much,
So weird. It's just the whole thing is weird.
Well, they got to do tests on this guy because he's
I don't know. Because it is
he
like.
remembers it.
Have you seen any of the pictures of it?
No.
I need you to look up after we're done. I need you to look up pictures of the wreckage, because it is like. There's not even. If you told me it was a plane, I didn't know, and I was just looking at it, I probably would be like, oh, it's just a fiery ball of ash. Like, there's not even a plane left there. So I don't know how this man got out.
That is insane.
241 people died.
Part of a building.
There's a wing over here. The fuselage is over here. There's fire everywhere. People on the ground. They're estimating that upwards of almost 300 people died, because there was a bunch of people on the ground too that it hit. Because it landed in a neighborhood.
Well, you got to stop putting neighborhoods 400 feet away from airports.
Yeah.
Although he was 400 feet up. That's not 400 feet out.
Right.
Probably a lot further out already.
Right. Yeah.
That's wild.
Anyway, the only comfort I have is that I'm not flying from India.
And you're not flying Boeing?
I know. My plane is an Airbus.
There you go.
Thank God.
Airbuses are staying afloat.
We love Airbus.
That is absolutely insane. No, the amount of plane crashes just in general that have happened recently.
Yeah.
But plane crashes already freak me out a little bit. I can't help but it's like a bad car accident. You can't help but
You can't help but watch. Yeah.
You need to find out this information, but it is wild.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
is absolutely insane.
So I took, in high school, I took a fatal flaws in engineering class, and we had a whole section on plane crashes. And I don't know why, but I find it to be the most interesting thing. I'm terrified of it.
Yeah.
But it's so interesting learning about how these things go wrong, because it's usually not that major of a thing.
Yeah.
It can be the smallest little thing.
But when something's flying in the air, doesn't take much.
Doesn't take much to mess it up.
That's why I hate flying.
Yeah.
I'm like you. I become a statue once I'm in a plane. Airport, chilling, fine.
Yeah.
The second I'm on the plane, and I start hearing the engines and stuff, I'm not moving.
Yeah.
I don't care how long it is.
Nope.
nothing. My eyes are
I'm there.
focused on
I always
like,
book
movie
a
or
window
something.
seat because I have to watch
That's how my
takeoff
mom is.
and landing. I have to watch it the whole time because if I don't watch it, something's gonna
My
happen.
mom, when the turbulence happens, she likes to see what's going on
I
in
have to be
case
able
it
to
is
see
something
it,
bad.
yeah.
I like
I
the
don't wanna
aisle
know.
seat so I can run.
You don't want to know. You just want to be. If you start
Run
dropping,
where?
yeah. What are you gonna do?
Well, when it gets close enough, I'll just jump.
Right.
What?
Like that person, if an elevator's going down, you're like, I'll just jump at the last second and I'll survive.
I don't know. The thought of being able to get out, if it was a possibility, gives more comfort than aisle.
Yeah,
Like if we were pulling a Sully and I was in the Hudson River, I want to be the first person down that
that's
slide.
a fair. Yeah, you'd want the aisle there. Fair point. Trivia.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Oh, let me get my. I'm not ready actually. All right.
So
hit
funny.
us.
The conversation we went to. Are hot dogs a sandwich? 242 people dying in a plane crash.
Yes. Two totally normal things to talk about in the same episode.
Oh yeah.
All right, hit us. Is it multiple choice?
No.
Okay.
Who is the only musician in their solo career to get a #1 every year of the 90s?
Every year of the 90s.
A musician.
I will give you a hint. It's a female.
Oh,
Thank you.
I'm deleting my answer.
I was writing down a male.
I also was. Who were you writing
What is
down?
that? Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
I was writing the same thing.
I don't think either of you are going to get this.
Then you have another one lined
It
up
was
for
a
us?
solo female who had
You're going
a
to need another
number one
trivia
hit
question.
every year in the 90s.
They had a #1 hit every year of the 90s.
90 to 99.
They had one of their songs was
That is how the 90s work. I mean, like, is she well known? I mean, I would assume she's got a
And
number
I
one hit
feel
for
like
9 years in a row.
I feel like, and if it's not every year, every couple years, still has a,
Like after
and
that,
it's usually the same song.
Every year of the 90s.
I got it. I think that helped me.
And giving out
Kind of,
hints.
yeah.
I can't even think of who was popular in the 90s.
Can I? No, I won't do it. I was going to ask if I could Google what year a song came out, but
Yeah, you can't do that.
I mean, I feel like if you are thinking of a song to help you, you would know that it was. But I also don't know if this was the song that was #1.
Yeah, I can't even think.
there is a song that possibly.
I'm just saying, so they had #1 hits every year of the 90s. Doesn't mean it was the same song, but I think now this artist would have a song every couple years that hits #1 at some point.
It's a solo artist.
A solo
And
artist.
it's the same song, or it's just the same artist?
No, they just
Okay.
have #1s. I'm saying in terms of now, like from since we've been born, she has a song that goes.
I'm locked in, but I have no confidence in my answer.
I was locked in.
I have
but
a second trivia
you're
question by the way.
Thank God.
confusing me more the more
Yeah, I
you
wouldn't
speak.
listen to that last part.
Yeah.
It sounds confusing when it's explained, but
Wait a minute. I got to think for a second longer.
I feel like
I had an answer, and then you said that, and I changed it, but now you're saying more, and I want to go back to
I
my
wouldn't
first
think
answer.
too.
Go back, go
I
with
would
the gut.
just, I would just think of an artist who has like a very popular song.
I'm locked in. I'm not confident in the slightest. I don't think I have
I'm going to
it,
lock
but I'm
in
locked
with my first answer. And if it's my second one, I'm going to be upset.
Yeah.
Okay.
What did you write?
I said Whitney Houston.
I said Shania Twain.
My other guess, Mariah Carey.
Mariah Carey.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Because of the freaking All I Want for Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't
every
think
year she's got another
That's what
number.
got me. That's why I changed
It's
it.
not. It's not every year. It's every December, every November, December. She's got another
right,
number one
which
hit.
is still yeah.
Freaking cheeks.
So,
Freaking cheeks. What the hell?
I'm sure All I Want for Christmas was #1 for in the 90s, but I think Fantasy was also
So upset.
want the second trivia. I don't know if you're second.
We have to because
Okay.
we
Yeah,
need
we have to
we
go
need a
with that.
winner.
Okay, wait.
Damn
But
it!
no, I
I
get it.
knew it was gonna be her because it was when you said that about the song about it coming back every year.
You're giving too many hints.
I know. Damn it. I did
Okay.
though. I did. We all just agree. I did.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
for
I'm
the
not getting.
record-
I'm not getting the
for
points.
the record, you didn't.
But I knew it.
Okay. What was the first fully CGI featured film?
Fully CGI.
I feel like this is kind of a because even I didn't.
Okay, then it's not
Then
what
why'd
I
you
was
pick
gonna
it?
say.
Because it's fun. Just
Give me a year.
Yeah.
I don't even have.
1995.
Well, it's fully CGI.
That's
so.
true. Well, you know how like live action use CGI, like it's
Wait.
95. I'm locked in. No, I'm not.
Fully CGI, but
featured.
but it's also animated. But
Like,
not
we
all
would think of it as animated. I would not have ever guessed that this is
I'm locked in.
95. One second.
I think I'm off year wise, but I don't have another choice. Be that. I hope it. I've got two answers
A
now.
couple guesses. Yeah.
I've got my number one, which I think I'm just dead wrong, but my number two is suddenly I'm suddenly thinking, wait a second, I could be onto something here.
I think this is not going to be correct, but wait a minute.
I'm
wait a
changing it
minute.
to my number two.
I know. I'm going back and forth between them. I don't
stressful.
think either of them are right, but
All right.
wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm still deciding which one I want to say. This is going to be another one where it's whatever one I say, it's going to be the other one. Which one came first? Okay. I think I've made my decision.
Go ahead.
Beauty and the Beast.
I said, and I don't think this came out this year, Polar Express. Yeah, I didn't think so. My first answer was Toy Story.
My first.
correct.
I should have stuck with my first because I was like, did Toy Story come out in 95? I think it did. And
Toy
then I was
Story.
like, and because then you said I would consider this animation, not CGI, and I was like, are they different things?
That's why I was saying like because my other
Your
guess.
hints are screwing us up.
My
Meg.
other guess was Aladdin, and because I was like, she's saying animation, not CGI. So I'm like, because you know how like
well, I've never
those
thought
old
of,
Disney movies have like the CGI backgrounds
Yeah.
and stuff. That's what I was thinking.
I never thought of it as CGI. We always just say animated films.
Well, yeah, because animation is computer
I
generated.
should have known.
So I should have stuck with Toy Story. I had it on my first. I had it.
Do you want one more?
We
Then I
need
feel like
have
one
to.
of you-
We
We need
need
one
one.
that's
Until-
like got a year
Yeah,
or
go with
something
something that we can get
we can be
closer to.
closer to. You know, like a number where one of us is closer to that number. Like so,
In what year was
how many
Pineapple
how many
founded?
hours are in the day? If I say 18 and he says 12, I would be correct
I
because
see
I'm
what you're
closer.
saying. I see what you're
It's like Price is Right.
okay.
Is that it? Price is Right?
Yeah. you're
Okay.
right. What do you got?
I feel like this one's cool, mostly because I've never heard of this. You guys have. How many sides does a tetrad? God have?
I'm
How
gonna
do you
need that
read
one more
it?
time.
Read that word.
How many sides does a tetradecagon have?
There you go.
Tetradecagon.
Got it. I took 5 years of Latin.
Yeah, I don't know
There
this
you
one.
go. Then
I'm nervous.
God, I can't. Okay. I'm not confident at all. What'd you say?
40.
I said 14.
14.
Let's go.
Damn It was the
I
4.
took years of Latin.
I did because
I was like,
Tetra's 4.
I knew Deca was 10, and I was like Tetra. I was like,
So this is what we
I was like,
did.
is that
We
5 or
both did the
4?
4-0. I did 4-0. You
Yeah,
did
1-4,
10-4.
yeah.
Yeah.
10 and 4. Hell yeah.
Good job, Joe.
Thank you.
Good job.
I'm actually, I was like, there's no way I've got this.
Good job.
With how fast you wrote
I'm
your answer
impressed.
down.
And you did.
I'm also impressed.
You said 40. I was like, whoa.
That would be
When
a
you
lot
said
of
40, I
science.
was like, oh, I'm
Not
way
that
under.
I would have ever
I'm
known.
so low, it's not even funny. That puts me at 246. You're at 2.
Mm-hmm.
Annabelle, do
Good
better.
6.
Where can the people find you?
You can find me at Annabelle.Kessinger on both TikTok and Instagram. And are we doing Eat of the Week?
Yes.
And
For
rating?
the last one.
Question mark?
Yeah,
Okay.
and rating.
Rating? Okay. My Eat of the Week last night, I got Blaze Pizza. And because that's literally the only meal I've had in between last time we filmed and
A
now.
pizza pie.
Pizza pie, if you will. I say that a lot. Yeah. I'll give it was okay. I'll give it like a 6 out of 10.
What'd you get? What kind of pizza?
I did a make your own and I got pepperoni and artichoke. And I love artichoke.
Ugh.
I love artichoke. There was one more thing because it was a 3 topping. Something else. Definitely pepperoni and artichoke. Basil.
Basil.
6
out of 10?
Maybe 7.
Okay.
It was good. But it was
Blaze pizza.
a Blaze pizza.
Yeah.
Nothing fancy.
You can follow me on my photography Instagram, Sharky_photography. My regular Instagram at Secret Agent Sharky. And my eat of the week is the Papa John's that I had the other day after we finished recording the podcast.
Pizza pie.
The pizza, no, a papadilla.
What did we say that was?
Pizza quesadilla. Quesadillas are flattened tacos. Pressed tacos.
Pressed tacos.
Pressed taco.
That was what you missed too. Was that a panini? A panini is to a sandwich as a quesadilla is to a taco.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I had a papadilla, chicken bacon ranch papadilla. It was delicious. I would give it a. God, I was craving it so badly. I'm giving it like a 9.5 out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're very good.
They are so good.
Like even on a day I wasn't craving it, I feel like I would rate it pretty high.
Yeah.
They're very good.
Delicious. Meg, before we go, got anything else you want to say?
No, I hope your mom is satisfied with this.
I hope so too.
Joe Mama.
As for the podcast, you can follow us on Twitter at CSGPod. That is CSGPOD. Follow us on TikTok at The Shuffle Podcast and on Instagram at The Shuffle_podcast. And subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all at The Shuffle Podcast. Meg, thank you so much for joining us
You're
in
so
the Peanut
welcome.
Gallery today. It was
That
a
was
lot of fun.
That was a fun conversation.
Yeah.
One
yeah,
day
it
I'll
was.
show my face.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, you
You
have
did.
before.
That's no,
No,
that
you
was
didn't.
Annabelle.
Oh, you're
That
right.
was Annabelle.
Right.
That was definitely me.
Anyways, thanks so much for listening. Thanks so much for watching. We'll talk with you guys next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.